everybody. Welcome to the SAP. It's your boy Dave Neal with Tasha Cordy and Leah Richardson.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Leah Richardson is a famous person name. That's you're going to be famous.
Oh, man.
Someone's going to watch this years from now and be like, yeah, Leah Richardson, that's fucking nuts. Do you know your lineage with Richardson?
I think it's like Scottish, Scotch-Irish. I don't know. It sounds English, but apparently it's not.
Wasn't Liam Neeson's wife last name Richardson, the one who died
Natasha
skiing?
Richardson, yeah.
Are you related?
I hope so. I don't think so.
She's
Maybe.
a white chick.
She's white with blonde hair.
Richardson is like a very common last name,
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah. It's very white.
What I love
You
is
need
that
to get on Ancestry.com,
I
find your
do.
little leaves or whatever.
do you get told that your voice doesn't match your face?
all the time. Yeah, they're like, who's this young man talking to? It's very alarming. Yeah.
I like. Did you grow up pretty, or did you become? We're talking to Leah Richardson. You
that's
work as a
nice.
stand-up comedian and also a model.
Yeah,
and whatever box, whatever's gonna pay you in LA,
all
right?
the things, yeah, acting sometimes, but yeah, I know I was pretty typical story. I was pretty awkward growing up, and then I started modeling around 15, 16, and I started to look you know what I'm saying, I looked like Joe Dirt's son for many years. I had a mullet. I had a big gap in my teeth. They grew no braces though, just magically grew together.
Wow, you're so lucky.
No
Thank you.
braces.
My
No
sister was the
braces.
same.
Yeah.
She never had braces, and my brother and I have such fucked teeth.
Right.
Mine will never be straight. I literally, in the time it takes me to take off my retainers and brush my teeth first thing in the morning, they've already gone crooked again.
You have to wear it at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of my blessings. I'm not
So
totally That's
lucky.
just one thing
Dang,
I got going
girl.
for me. But man. So I was a really awkward kid, and then I don't know. I really just started caring more about my appearance in high school, and I think that helped. I started wearing
because
makeup. And,
on in stand-up, you have a joke about kind of a funny uncle joke, a funny uncle joke. But we just did the Mimosa show again. I don't know exactly when this podcast is coming out, but we just did the September Mimosa show. You crushed it, great
Thanks,
set.
dude, thanks.
And maybe at the end, I professionally record the Mimosa show, so maybe I could play a clip from it if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, don't mind.
I'd love to
yeah.
play your uncle clip because I don't want to make you do your material now. That's weird. But did you really have a creepy uncle?
Yeah, he's dead now. But he just said creepy things. He never
Was creepy.
Yeah, he never put his hand on my thigh or anything. But he definitely thought about it.
He did with his eyes.
Yeah, he undressed me with his eyes a lot. No, I'm just
Uncles get a bad rap, and I wonder if aunts. No one's like, "Ooh, this aunt was kind of
You always talk about your kooky aunts, though.
really.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know. It's maybe you're just at this place of
just not
inappropriateness as an uncle, where you're for me, I've got my sister has 4 kids under the age of 6, right?
Oh, wow.
So I can just come and go and be a piece of shit. I don't have to
Yeah.
share life wisdom.
No.
That's the beauty of an uncle. I don't have to just, I can just they'll be like, oh,
So
what does
what
Uncle
you're
Dave do?
basically saying is that you get to skate through life without any
Yeah.
expectations like women have, and also that men are generally creepier than women.
True.
You see how she really bundles up this feminist energy, right? Yeah, no, as an uncle, if I was a dad, I'd have to if my kid came home with got bullied, I'd have to make it a whole thing. As an uncle, I can just come in and be like, oh, I could just be like that hungover, you know what I mean? Just piece of shit uncle. Whenever I visit, I could just be like, ugh. Uncle Dave's, they're always like, what does Uncle Dave do? And my sister's probably like, oh, Uncle Dave. I have no idea what she even describes our life as because it's so different. She's putting them in Bible camp. And I'm like, I was raised Catholic and I'm not against, a lot of the principles of love and this and that. But also, I'm like, oh, boy, you're just, cult mastering these kids. You know what I mean? Who
They're going to grow up into their own people.
they need to, they're going to have to find out that dinosaurs and humans didn't share Noah's Ark together. They're gonna have, you know what I mean? Tasha's from the same town or close to the town where the Noah's Ark Museum is.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically the people that think that dinosaurs and humans lived at the same time. What's it called? It's not called Noah's Ark Museum, but they have a full built to scale
Listen,
ark.
you got to read the Yelp reviews of this place. The
I kinda
Yelp
wanna
reviews.
go.
Oh, it's called the
amazing.
Creationist Museum. It's the
Of
creation
course.
in Kentucky. Yeah, look it up.
Because you're
from
from-
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Rhode Island,
Sick.
so we have a New England shame to us, but we don't. But you're from
love it.
Oregon.
I'm from Oregon.
Now do you know Jackie Brown?
No.
She was on the podcast a few months ago, and Jackie's also from Oregon. You guys have the same
I do
like
know
talk about
Jackie
kind of
Brown.
growing up in a trashy.
I met her at Fourth Wall.
Yeah.
I just forgot her last name. She's like a pretty blonde
Yeah.
who has a
Exactly.
similar. She's like from Washington, I think.
Oh, maybe that's right,
But
yeah.
it's the same Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of.
But were you from that sort of Oregon? That was because I've only thought of like Portland and like Starbucks. I never thought of.
No, that's what people think. Like where they have the fancy coffees that take an hour to make and just like hipsters everywhere. But there's like a whole like Oregon's pretty redneck.
Big.
Like there's a lot of farmland, a lot of farm culture.
Were you from a redneck part?
Yeah, an hour. I grew up an hour west of Portland. It's more suburban now, but growing up, it's like there was a field next to my house with horses and like cows and like.
But does like everyone you grew up with, do they stay in town? Is it one of those like towny places?
Yeah, some people stay or they move to Port. They move the whole hour to Portland, it's a big city.
Take that leap of faith.
Yeah,
All the way to Portland with their cardigans on. Now, because are you like a big deal when you go back? Like, are you this like Hollywood celebrity?
Not really. No, I think a lot of people are confused. They're like, "What are you doing?" but actually, you're right. They think it's more exciting than it is. Like I'm on a hair box dye right now that's only at Walmart, and like my friends back home think it's the coolest thing. And
I saw that photo.
I made
Yeah,
maybe $500 from that. It's like, and they can use it forever.
What type of hair product is it?
It's like temporary dye. It's for splat. Like if you want purple streaks for a day, and then it washes out.
Hopefully, we have a pretty good size following. Hopefully, somebody has you on their hair right now. They've got purple splats, and like you're talking to the purple splat model.
Hopefully, a teenager. 'Cause
Pretty good
that's
get.
That's the market. yeah.
That's fucking interesting because we were talking before we aired here where Tasha was like, "Do you have a hair agent model? Do you have a hair model agent? Do you have?" It's like it's such a specific city
Yeah.
where you need like representation to get you in the door with a hair model, or if you want to do stunts, you have to have a stunt sports agency
Yeah.
or all this bullshit. And then you also. Are you in a band or what? You're a musician as well?
Yeah, so I know I do some. I have ADD. Yeah, I'm a singer songwriter, and I release singles on Spotify sometimes. And I just played a show last night. I don't know if that's like my main pursuit. I just really enjoy it. I think comedy is more my thing these days. But yeah, I do music.
How did you go from music to comedy? How did you decide that this was a better identity?
My friend that's a comic was like, "You should try stand up." And then I just
What a
started.
shitty friend that is.
What a horrible friend. I'm like, basically, he's like, "You have problems and you need to do that. Therefore, do stand up."
Well, because Tasha's got the best of both worlds. She gets to
Yeah.
come to the Mimosa show, sit on the crown chair, have fun, and then peace the fuck out. Where we're stuck with the crippling anxiety of like, as soon as the good set, we both had good sets. As soon
Yeah.
as the good set is over, it's kind of like, okay, well, what else? What next?
I know.
Greg, yeah, that material. Like I just did old jokes about my family because I'm going to go
Same.
home and see my family. So I'm like, all right, I'll run some of these jokes. So it's like, even if they did well, it's like, yeah, well, good. I run 4 years ago. Like, who
I
cares?
know,
It's like,
dude.
it's
I
never
feel you.
that feeling of, like, as a musician, can you feel like, oh, we played a good set, we sang good music, and you just be happy?
Yeah, but I'm very critical of myself there too. I'm like, oh, I hope that sounded right. But yeah, I usually feel pretty good as long as you have fun. That's yeah.
Now, your boyfriend that you live with is also a stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
and
a
he's done it
stand-up.
for a long time.
Like a year longer.
Oh, okay,
than
not
me.
that's
we kind
nothing.
of start around the same time.
No, because I loved it. You were hosting at the Haha, and you brought up that you were like, this next comedian I live with, and then you brought him up, and then he's like, that was my girlfriend.
I know. I just made it.
Is that
seem
a
like he
bit
was
that
my
you guys
roommate.
do together? I was like, they could hit the road together
I
traveling.
should. We have done stand up together as a duo act. That was just Leon. Our friend Leon had us do it. He's like, just get up there and riff, and we were like, this is gonna be terrible. And then it got like a really good response. And we're like, maybe we should do this together.
Wow,
but yeah,
that's cool.
I don't know. I feel so gross being like, oh, it's my boyfriend. The next comer to the stage is my boyfriend. I just feel weird saying it. So
It's weird because I've had this issue with Tasha where I brought her up. I'll be like, hey, get up for Tasha. She's in the audience. And then I'll be doing a joke about my lady. And then people will be kind of weird about it. So like I have a couple jokes that not because Tasha cares about them, but they don't work well because I'm kind of making fun of women, you know, at least in the relationship sense. So I'm like, I can't be like, oh, like I can't do that with Tasha in the room because they're kind of like, oh, I feel like we're shitting on the person that's in the room, you know? But I don't think it goes the other way. You could probably shit on your boyfriend all day long and no one's going to care.
yeah, we both have jokes that kind of shit on each other, but we run them by each other first just to be like, is this cool? Is this cool? You know?
Are you guys ever like fighting and then just you both say something stupid and you just go to your notepads like, okay,
Yeah.
that's another minute on that?
Yeah, there has been moments like that where like we got in an argument and I said something really stupid. I was like, you don't want to set this off. Like I became like I think I'm so hard all of a sudden, like an 80s wrestler. I'm like, let's take it to the cage, brother. Like I just got so I wrote that down because I'm like, why would I say that? You don't want to set this off. Like, am I Dr. Dre. I don't know.
How long did you date before you moved in together?
A year and a half, I think.
That's pretty healthy.
It was a little early, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like that's a plenty.
Yeah,
I feel like
we
that's
kind
plenty
of
time.
knew. I was also just in a bad situation. I had like a really gross apartment with like bed bugs and rats and a stalker. So my boyfriend's like, maybe it's time to like not live there, and I was like, let's do it. So that helped
funny
me.
how that in Los Angeles, we were kind of the same way.
It's like necessity. Well, not really like necessity, but like he lived in. We call it a frat house because it was like guys from your fraternity,
central
right?
air, pool, patio.
No, it was
nice
a
place.
really nice place in
Just
North
with
Hollywood.
a couple alcoholics that
but
couldn't,
Yeah.
it was a bunch
glass
of
shards.
dudes that don't pick up after themselves, so it was kind
It was
of
really,
gross.
it was really one
Totally.
guy. It was one guy that was a
Totally.
problem. One guy that was a problem.
Anyway, but the owner was selling the house, so it's like, well, we've been dating a while. Like
Convenient.
No,
either
but
you
that's
move
not
in
why.
with me,
That's
or
not why I moved in with you. I had already moved in with you kind of short term. We did it in a fun way where it was a fun way where like we didn't have a commitment, like a giant commitment. I still had all of my shit. Basically, I had a buddy living on my couch. I always say we had like 5 roommates. We had plus the guy on the couch. There's always a guy on the couch. There's always
a guy
like
on the couch.
living room one. We had two. Our dining room was also a living room. Like we just had couches. That when you're a single guy, couches are everywhere. You just see a couch, you
Yeah.
bring it home. It's just an orphanage of couches. So we had one guy on the couch that had a curtain behind it. So he was like the Wizard of Oz kid, right?
Oh my God.
And then other roommates were like, hey man, is he gonna chip in? I was like, yeah, he should chip in. It was like 4th month, right? Because I know when I moved here, if you'll live on that couch as long as they'll let you.
Yeah.
And then one day they're kind of like, we've had a meeting, and so anyway, I was like, well, you just take my room, start paying my rent, and I'll just go move in with Tasha, where I was already here 5 nights a week. So I was
Yeah.
like, that'll ease up our kind of like issue of not always being, together or whatever. Not that it was an issue, but
just two different schedules and trying to like coordinate in Los
Yeah.
Angeles when you're like, traffic's gonna be an hour and a half right now. I don't know where I
But
really
I
am.
had to leave at the time a house with a pool where like any free time was spent with my toes in the water,
That's
getting some
nice.
writing done. I had to leave that to come here. I had like a cooler with wheels on it that it just literally couldn't fit in our apartment. So I had to like leave it outside. A homeless guy's got my furniture now. Like I had to really really sacrificed a lot of things, Tasha,
Yeah.
just so you know.
It's for love.
But
man.
anyway, so
For
she's
love.
like, so she got basically her rent cut in half, and mine went down maybe like $80. My rent really was cheap at the other place. But anyway,
Was it?
so
Yeah.
we kind of moved in with like, we'll just feels, I don't think have you lived with any boyfriends before?
Yeah.
But like, not, you were living here alone for a while.
Yeah.
I came into her zone, which has been part of the thing we've had an issue with, because it's like we have to make it ours.
Yeah.
Versus me like, sleepover camp,
Totally. I also moved into my boyfriend's space, and he's been there for forever, and that's what my friends kept saying. You got to make it your own. You got to make it, but like, it was already so nice. And he's the decorator of the relationship. Like he's kind of the
Wow.
woman in some ways. And people come over and they're like, and they always just assume it's me. They're like, I love your place. It's so cute. Like you're so good. And I was like, I didn't have anything to do with this.
Thank you, but not
yeah.
me.
Because most guys, the only plant they own is the mold growing up the shower curtain or
See,
whatever.
that was like me. When he would visit me at my shitty apartment, I had like one poster of the Strokes and like a jar of pickles in the fridge. That's it. Like I was kind of like the Bachelor.
You are
know?
a bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of a
my
bro.
gosh.
And he's got such good taste and nice furniture. Like, I don't know.
So, was there anything when you moved in that was like, that's got to go? That, your toothbrush is too close to the toilet. Was there anything that just like didn't vibe with you, right?
No, if anything, it was my stuff didn't vibe. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Not really. No.
So you just moved in and it worked.
It just worked. I mean, I brought the dog. I brought a dog. That's
Okay.
what I contributed.
That's something.
Yeah.
So, because it's interesting, a lot of people, the dynamics change when you're kind of on top of each other and have to figure that. Have you lived with any boyfriends before?
No, he's the first one. I think it was more of an adjustment for him than me. I'm the messier one, and he's super clean. So I think that I got on his nerves for a while, but he like kind of trained me into being a cleaner person. He's like made me a better person. So,
Wow.
I didn't
What
realize-
were his tips?
I'm
Like,
still
can you
kinda
give
messy,
me
but-
tips for training? Like, how did he do it well?
Just a lot of shaming. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't realize Leah and I are like
same.
long lost twins or something. I'm an older twin. You baked a little longer, but we're like, yeah, because
Right.
you can be trained into someone who's a little more OCD or clean or
Right.
has good habits.
Boy,
or-
but I've been really training for like almost 6 years now, and I wish things were moving a little faster.
oh, stop.
I get it.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Well, I did notice like life is better when it's more organized and when things are clean, and I just didn't know that before. So, yeah, I was like,
Well,
oh, this is a nice way
But
of living.
sometimes creatives, and not to say it's like
No, that's such a
No, sometimes you're a little messier and you live a little like I'm kind of like a like.
That's a fake thing that they just made up that like messy people adopted.
Well, the other day, like
artists.
the other day I was like, the toilet paper was empty and I didn't replace it and it was right next to it, but I mopped the kitchen floor and Tasha was like, why the fuck didn't you just replace the toilet paper?
I literally watched you use the last thing for whatever you're doing, cleaning or something. I watched him pull off the last one and then not change
But that's just the attention span I'm working with. But I mopped the floor, so I'm like, and I wasn't mad. I was just like, look, just so you know, like I did things that were of a lot more value than replacing a toilet paper. But you're right, I didn't think to do it, and I like was just letting her know out loud, just be like, you don't think I'm purposely trying to start shit with you?
No, I just can't believe that like when you use the last one, you don't immediately change it. I don't know. I can't fathom that. That's
part of it is like wrapping your
works.
head around the fact that my highways in my head aren't the same ones yours are. And that's what you have to learn when you live with someone, is to not fight over something that's like, oh, you have to have this like real to your core empathy that the other person's not trying to fuck with you.
Dude, I got my boyfriend so good the other day because he can be a little bit of a nag, a little bit of a tyrant, not like a tyrant, but a nag, you know? And I was like, you know, is this getting you the result you want? You keep trying the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. You keep nagging me, but are you getting the result you want? And he's like, no. And I was like, it's time to try something different. You know,
wow.
try to empathize with where my head's at. It was very manipulative. I was actually kind of proud of myself because usually I'm just like, you're right. I'm sorry. But, yeah.
You're going to see me one day with like a black eye and you're like, what's the matter? I'll be like, I told Tasha, is this the result you want? And then she just cold clocked me. No, but I like that. It's like, because communicating feels like it's one way, like one person's talking to the other person, but the truth is, it's like if you're just playing racquetball and hitting shit off the wall,
right,
it's like it's just coming right back at you. Like you need to really understand if the other one gets what you're saying,
right?
And that's healthy to be. It's healthy for you. Sorry, my mic fell. It's healthy for you to tell him that, but also, in which ways are you trying to communicate like that's not natural to you to help him?
Wait, say that. What last part again?
Like, in which ways are you adjusting your communication style to help
to make
him?
sure he can listen?
Yeah. I'm just I stay positive, and I don't know. I just try to just be more upfront and honest, because before I would just not communicate. I'm just learning how to communicate. I don't know if I answered your question at all, but
No. I mean, that's just part of it. Is you think you really think you've mastered the art of communicating because you've got friends and you have a job and this and that, and that's all structured. But
each
until
person is individual in their like way of listening and learning and understanding. You know, it's like. Yeah.
So like when you so you started modeling when you're 15, right? Tasha, please get comfortable. Just put your legs all over me for those listening on the audio only. Tasha likes to get. By the way, Tasha, you've got your bra hanging out, and I don't mind it. Is that part of the look, or is this?
Yeah, because it's a very
like
conservative top, and so I felt like it needed to be like sexed up a little.
So you get a little lace bra hanging out. I'm fine.
No, but it's like a peekaboo. But the way I'm sitting is like not a peekaboo. It's like a.
Do you watch Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
What are the wives called? The wives.
Yeah,
you're like a wife on like a loose day, like, like on her day off.
Because she's got like the Cinderella maid jumper dress on, but with the tit hanging out. Just trying to promote the YouTube. You guys, you can watch this. Sorry, like I said, my
ADD.
I digress. But so you start modeling at 15. You know, women's bodies kind of like you most times develop before guys' emotional ability to deal with that does. So like, are you looking like a woman before you feel like one?
Yeah,
like, because you're modeling
did.
like you're supposed to be like glamorous or sexy, but you're 15 or 16.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I got tits real early, guys. Not to brag, but they came in at 12. Double D's. I hide them
Again.
Wow,
Go to the
congrats.
YouTube. No, don't let them know.
I'm not trying to
hanging
brag.
out.
I'm not trying to brag. But a child with double D's, like that's a lot. But yeah, so I could tell I was a woman when men from cars were yelling things at me when I'd be walking to school. I'm like, oh shit, this is happening.
You're like, I'm 15, asshole.
I know, seriously.
What was that line you said you used on your boyfriend that he made fun of you for? You're like, don't mess with this. What was that line?
You don't want to set this up. That's a great way to get punched.
Sexy. Like, you don't want to set this up. Like, no, that's exactly why we're yelling at you.
I do remember like one guy did say, you want to suck my dick? I was like, you want to suck mine? And I was like 14. me. Like, why would I yell that? I'm so glad I wasn't kidnapped. But yeah, I've always been a tomboy. I was raised with like a brother, and like I was always kind of a tomboy. So I would just like, I kind of broed out even more when I like became more womanly looking, because I wanted to like repel. I would just repel guys with my personality. Like I would belch in class, and I was kind of gross.
Let me tell you, if you have double D's and you're belching, guys don't give a shit
That's
about your
true.
belching.
I've learned.
you
I've
can shit on his feet. It doesn't. That got far. That was too far.
And I did. No, okay. Yeah.
So you're coping by broing out, and then. But are there any guys that are actually like? Are you dating any guys like your high school years, or you just?
I didn't really date. No, I went on a few dates here and there. I guess I kind of had a boy. We never kissed. No, I didn't really like date someone and kiss anyone until I was like 17, almost 18. So I waited a minute.
And then did it take like a? I always feel like it's a guy who's 1 or 2 years older who's emotionally at a place to be able to like go in for a first kiss. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're like 16 and a 16-year-old guy, you're out there fully developed, and then there's a dude who's like, I mean, I was like a fucking loser when I was friends with everybody, but like I was so nervous to even emotionally think I could be with a woman or a girl that I would just like I would walk myself into the friend zone. Like, oh, here we are. Let's go right in, because it was easier than even dealing with the emotion of maybe trying to like. I don't know if women. If you guys have that same problem, I always tease Tasha that she's never had to learn how to hit on a guy ever once in her life. And you're probably the same way, where like if you guys were single, you could just go into a bar. Tasha's got her handmaid's titty out. You got the double D's. You just go out there and like talk politics. It doesn't matter. And then belch all you want. And then you're going to get hit on him and buy drinks. I mean, did you ever have to, like, have you ever saw a guy and had to go hit on him?
No. Well, maybe when I was, maybe like in middle school, beginning of high school, I didn't feel attractive to men then, but so.
No, because it's, and again, I
was hitting on guys at that age.
Yeah, it's like not your priority. You're like,
but I wasn't getting the attention that I maybe get now. So.
Well, I only ask this because men, we're like Looney Tunes. We're like Wile E. Coyote, where we got plans. We're like, all right, these are the blueprints of the gymnasium for the school dance. You know that like Shannon gets jiggy with it and like Stairway to Heaven. So if you're over there by the bubbler, then we're fucking guys we used to do push-ups before school dances to like try to like get a good blood flow to try to like look bigger. But like we'd also have like a boxy dress shirt on, so you couldn't see anything underneath our dress shirt. We were like we would literally be doing push-ups behind the school.
Why?
All those hormones, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's just energy. You're just like a Red Bull with jeans on, just energy, and you don't know what to do about it. And that's where it can be dangerous as a guy, especially like if you start drinking in high school or whatever, because like you're not going to learn how to hit on a girl. You're not going to learn how like all the basic things. And we all know stories of like guys who like a guy from the baseball team who like, would do something like, illegal, like you know what I mean, because like they fucking never learned how to like use to like grow up through their. You're looking at me, Tasha, like I don't have a point here.
I'm so lost. Are you following?
Kind of. I was just gonna say I don't envy men having to approach women. Like that does seem like we're kind of lucky that we don't necessarily have to do that. Because like my veterinarian's a really pretty woman, and I wanted to tell her, and I was like, today's the day I'm just gonna tell her. Because I need to acknowledge other women, and like I want to tell. And I got so nervous, and I was like, is this what it's like to be a man? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna approach her, and then I told her.
Yeah, you don't want to be creepy. Like you're really pretty. I'm not trying to be creepy.
Yeah,
but
and I was like, not
really
to be weird. And she was like, oh my god, really? I needed to hear that. And I was like, so glad. You gotta tell him. You gotta tell people.
Because even if I am a good-looking person approaching a good-looking person, they've got to be single. They've got to be wanting to be approached. They've got to be all these different things.
Sure, but I think you could just be kind.
Yeah, but also if you're the seventh guy in a row to be kind to a woman at a bar or something, she might just be like, you know what, fuck off. And you're like, I'm going to go fuck myself now. And you just kind of like, I got to the place pretty quickly where like it stings for a minute, but if you're with your buddies, they'll just punch you and be like, you fucking idiot. Like you couldn't kind of like, it's like a camaraderie experience.
But I
getting
do
shut
think
down.
that like as much as like I don't envy guys being like initiators in our society, I also think that like we don't get enough credit for all of the bullshit that we have to deal with they have no freaking idea about.
What I wanted to say was that it's not a binary thing. It's not so like if I'm like, well, it's really hard for men to hit on women. It doesn't mean that you guys don't have to deal with being catcalled at 14 or crazy shit. It's just different. So like we've all got different things we have to deal with. But like you see
it's like skills that you learn in life.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we talked about this with Leah Lamar, who was on the show earlier. We booked 2 Leahs on the Mimosa show. I made sure you didn't go next to each other because I think that would have set off like the time continuum or something. 2 Leahs following each other on stand-up. Yeah, she was great. And Leah mentioned... I floated by what I was going to say about her. But we were talking about how you need to... I'm waiting for the words to come. I totally blanked. What were we just talking about?
How we have to develop different skill sets.
Like you have to be able to. Unfortunately, you can't. Like okay, so I am in a long-term relationship. Other female comedians know I'm probably not trying to fuck them if I talk to them.
Yeah.
But like if I was single, you might give me attitude because you don't want to deal with the fact, not you specifically, but other. And it happens like where like you might not want to be like feeling like super energetic or lovely.
You don't want to be too nice to someone who's single because they might misunderstand.
Because everyone, I will speak for women when I say this, that I think every woman's had that experience where you're just having a nice day, happy day.
You're just being polite.
And then some dude follows you for 6 years. You've got this guy that won't stop messaging you for years on Instagram, and you were probably nice to him one day.
Yeah.
And now you're just like an asshole to him, but you were nice to him that one day. So he's like, he
crazy.
thinks. And it's sad that like that's what men pick up on. We kind of like will sometimes, take whatever negative, we'll just like isolate. Oh, wow, she high-fived me that one time. It's like, yeah, bro, you were running a marathon. Everyone was high-fiving everyone. You know what I mean? Like, and then we'll use that as like our sort of that's in our DNA to like have that dumb hopefulness to think we're gonna actually get laid.
Right.
And that's what keeps our species going.
Damn, it's being a woman is terrifying because my friend was saying that the other day she just moved to what's it called, somewhere in Arkansas. What's that city? Doesn't matter. Little Rock, yeah. And she was like, I was walking around and there was like a UPS guy and like he smiled at me and I smiled back because I'm a nice person having a nice day. And then he just started following her. He's like, hey, and he was just hitting on her and he just started following her. And she had to be like, please stop. You're a federal employee. Can you just like focus on your job and not talk to me?
I pay for you.
And she's like, and now she's like scared because he got not upset and she was like, he knows where I live and like he could get, I don't know, like because he knows where she lives and it's just scary.
But it's like, and what like there's obviously a disconnect there, but hopefully not, but there's a small percentage of people that just like are so far off that rocker that like they can't comprehend.
Not that all guys are murderers, but like that, that's always in the back of your mind as a woman. So that guy's probably totally fine. You never know though.
And then I'll counter that with that's never ever a thought that a guy has to have.
Right.
And so we just, no, and it's good we're talking about it, and it's good that in society we're talking about that, but that's, so like I was I just started looking into the different types of empathy, because I can find myself defending, I was going to post this on Facebook, like name a villain, I'll find a way to defend them, and I was like, let's just not go there. But like, you could find a way to defend anybody. You take Donald Trump, it's like, he had a fucked up childhood, like everyone's fucked up. I'm not saying it's right, but I have this empathy where I can be like, I can see the Bachelor contestant that Tasha hates and be like, yeah, well, I can just, so for like your case, it's like, she sees a federal employee who's like an adult, and I see a 16-year-old who never developed the social aware, whatever it is. It doesn't make it right. Yeah. And again, she has to, the limbic system, she has to have that fight or flight mentality for her survival. But I also see guys that are getting rejected when they don't even think. Like there was one comic, I think this was also Leah Lamar on her set, was talking about how her Uber driver Facebook friended her, and she never gave him her last name. He just searched Leah comic or whatever. Maybe it was a different comedian who told this joke, but either way, this was from yesterday. I heard it, but I was like, oh yeah, that's a guy move. Yeah, if a single guy, if I'm driving Uber and I'm single and I meet a chick and I'm like, oh shit, I should have got her info, I'll do a quick Google search. I know where she lives. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just charm is decided with whether or not the lady likes him back. That's the decision.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that's still that's one step too far.
I'm just saying, if she really liked him, and then it's a rom-com. It really depends on the score, right? The type of music behind.
Well, just because we've been watching shitty non-feminist movies our whole lives doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
I mean, have you as a pretty lady, have you had like guys kind of impress you with their levels of stalking? Do you get this DMs sliding in?
I don't, not I mean, no, I'm usually just weirded out.
Yeah, not impressed. There's no impressed.
I've never had a guy like pursue me hardcore that, where I was like, yeah. I'm usually like, ooh.
Try harder.
Screenshots in case you go missing.
Right.
Yeah, but it also helps that you taken like.
Oh yeah, totally. I also just listen to too much true crime, so I'm just overly paranoid probably. And I also have pepper spray and a taser. Like I'm just ready. I'm just ready to go.
How long have you been dating your boyfriend?
Almost 4 years, three and a half.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Is he the one?
Yeah, I would say so.
Wow.
I mean, hey.
How long did it take for you guys to know that?
I don't know. Like, I guess like, we went on a trip like 6 months in. We went to Panama and we just traveled really well together. We've been to like a few countries now together, like Mexico, Thailand. And I don't know why, but that was a moment for me. I'm like, I can be with you for 2 weeks straight and not be sick of you. That's amazing.
If you can like shit in like second world countries, like I'm sure Panama has some situations where you had to like shit in a small hotel with each other. I feel like that's
in Thailand we shit in holes in the ground sometimes.
You just went to Thailand? When you went to Thailand?
That was like a year ago. Yeah.
Where'd you go in Thailand?
We went all over like Chiang Mai and hopped around the islands, Phuket and all these.
We just did Phuket and Koh Samui.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
I didn't do Koh Samui,
but Phuket was where we had the bathroom was connected to the bedroom without like there was a wall, but it didn't hit the ceiling, so there was like
it was it was a lovely suite. It was a beautiful bathroom, but it was just kind of like open air. There wasn't really
so when Tasha needed to use the bathroom, I went for a walk, and then when I needed to use the bathroom, she's like, "No, just wait in here." And I was like, "This is for me, not for you. Like, this is for me to know I've got." Because one time, I'll never forget this. I had left my phone on what's it called? What's the mode called where Tasha could see it on the TV? My phone
we were probably watching a football game or something. And so like AirPlay was on and he went to the bathroom and he brought his phone and then all of a sudden like the TV hadn't been like lit up,
but it's
right?
me,
But
like,
the AirPlay was still active.
It's me scrolling one Facebook status. You ever get to a good, you're like, 78 comments.
And then you click on the comments. It was so funny to watch what he was doing while he was taking a shit.
She's videotaping it, laughing. So the whole video is me scrolling a Facebook status, and then I stop, and then you hear a flush.
Oh my god! That's so
and then I came out. I was like, "Yeah, you got me. There's nothing."
How you pass the time on the toilet?
Well, not that I did anything that no one else does, but she just like.
It's
at least
funny.
you weren't scrolling through like butt accounts.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just, you ever just like open them up and you like see into someone's soul. You ever you look at a photo, you can use that.
You can zoom in
on a photo. We all look at asses.
Mm-hmm.
Tasha, you don't look at asses?
Sure, I look at a nice butt every once in a while.
Looks at butts.
You gotta look at butts.
I'm just
Everybody looks at butts.
Everyone who doesn't?
We had posted some photos from Thailand, and we have a couple photographer friends, and one photographer friend said I did a phenomenal job on a photo of Tasha. You should pull that photo up. That's like a commercial quality photo.
He did do a very good job, but let me take proper credit that this is almost 6 years of training and fights and trying to explain to him how to take a good photo with a good perspective where I don't look like I have 1-inch legs.
I have had to teach my boyfriend the same thing. He's still learning, but yeah. Well, there'll be a huge shadow on my face. He's like, "It's great." I'm like, "What?"
What the fuck? How do you look at it? It's like the same as the toilet paper roll. Like, how do you look at this and think that this is okay?
Well, we do this. So my buddy Channing and I do this new web series called Posers, where we take these mics and we do play-by-play commentary of people taking photos at murals. So we make it a sports game where we're like doing this, and women will spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the thing, and I swear to God, these two dudes zip up to the mural on a Lime scooter, one photo, and zip away. And I was like, that's it. No guys taking. You got it. It's almost like guys take photos as like evidence. Yeah. Boom. Everyone's in the shot. Got it. Mm-hmm. Women take. You guys do it as art, but there's no art involved with the male.
Who?
Men.
Oh, with your brains? Is that what you're about to say?
Because every boyfriend's the same. Every boyfriend's the same. No one's like, my boyfriend's amazing at taking photos. No, it's like
that's not true. I know lots of influencers with boyfriends and husbands that are excellent at taking photos.
Listen, their souls are gone.
No, they're making a fortune. They're making $500,000 a year, traveling around the world, shooting for brands.
The dream.
Yes.
I don't know if that money is worth it.
You're
just saying,
so full of shit. You would live that life.
When you see, look, so again, we spent an afternoon we just psychoanalyzed this, right? We see this lady taking photos, or some girl taking photos, and then she walks away like with an attitude with her phone and puts her phone behind her, and the boyfriend just grabs the phone. Like, he knew what to do. He was her assistant. And the Instagram boyfriend, like, Tasha, I'm there when we communicate right. I'm there and want to take your photos. And we've done a much better job of being like, we'll be on the beach. I'm like, babe, look, the first 150 takes are going to be horrible. Yeah. Let's just get them out of the way. Let's just get it to the point where you like the good photo, and then go through her photos. I've been doing a really good job. I get the legs and this and that. Nice. It's just a different priorities than I used to look for in a photo. I used to try to just press the button, and now it's like, oh, you need to have the leg. You know, you want to. It's a different art, and I see this lady just give her phone to her boyfriend. I'm like, oh, there's this business. Couples aren't good at business transactions, so it's a form of communicating. I think a lot of couples are bad at, where it's like the guy doesn't want to look like an idiot, the girl doesn't get the photo right. So it's a way for you to see in public people's shitty communication. Like, you don't get to see two couples fighting over Yelp where they want to go, but you can see them at a mural, you know, with the chick being like all mad because, you know, he got the perfect shot and it turns out, you know, her forehead's cut off because he was too focused on, you know, featuring her shoes or something. That was very specific. I did that. But like, I don't know. So I I empathize with men when I think, Jesus Christ, there's no equivalent to things men make women do for them. You know, this society where we just flip the camera around is very strange. You have to admit, it's very strange how, like, we can't just take a photo of a bridge. We have to be in the photo of the bridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a new thing. Instagram's a new thing.
It's a whole new
Anyway,
beast.
Go to Tasha's Instagram and see the photos I took, because the photographer said they were great. And then the first thing she said was, well, I had to train him. It's like, just appreciate the good photo. No one's like, oh, that's a great Picasso. Well, you should have seen his early work. He was horrible. It's like, I got to that photo.
I get it. Takes two to use a collaboration.
I just want a little bit of credit.
And the deck was dry, so I like wet down the deck, because I come from a production background. I've been in a movie or two, so I'm doing props. I'm wetting the deck down. I'm like, I really had this thing looking slick. It's a good photo.
Damn, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, I feel like you should just show her the photo. Just show her the photo.
Why? We're recording a podcast.
Anyway, go to Tasha Courtney on Instagram.
I'm gonna check it out. It's awesome. I love that you guys like collaborate. Let's go. I'm gonna have to train my dude to be more of a.
Listen, no, don't for his sake.
I'm not quite there yet. I only have 12,000 followers.
Hey, 12,000 followers. That's a good start.
Well, you heard my joke earlier about using a bot to help me get there.
Oh yeah, you know what? And I love that joke so much, because I had a bot, and I still deal with people that I've been kicked off shows because they think I unfriended them because I hit a bot and I unfollowed people. It's happened, and some people are that insecure. I've never really cared much. I'd be like, oh, I can assume that people manipulate social media, so I don't care. But this happened, and someone messaged me and they're like, why did you follow me? And I was like, I don't know, it's just whatever. And they go, this is my son's account, and he committed suicide, and we use it to raise awareness. And so she was like wondering why like an adult male was following her, and I was like, now I need to look at this 15-year-old who killed himself. Like, I was like, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't run a bot to go auto follow people.
Do you ever like come clean? Because I've gotten messages like that where I'm just super honest, where they're like, why are you following me? Or they're like, or that woman that wrote a post about her dead mom, and I was like, cool post, but it was the bot, not me. And
oh my god.
Oh yeah, Tasha had to run out and get champagne.
I was across the street getting more champagne because we ran out of champagne, so I missed the second half of your set.
I'll plug it in.
Yeah, I'll have to listen on the audio.
But it's an unfortunate.
I just come clean. I'm like, it's a bot. I'm sorry. I'm a fraud.
And no offense to you, but bots are for ugly people. You guys just need to show your body parts. Like, you've got a moral. You have too high morals here. Is the problem?
I just never liked my body.
Also, it like really fucks up your head. It really does. It can like it's a thing. Especially, I feel really bad for like the young teenagers that are still like going through some like development of their like sense of self and their self-esteem. That like, because it creates this feedback loop. Like, you get this positive feedback when you receive a lot of likes and comments, but then you become so paranoid when something doesn't perform and you're looking so closely at your body. Like, I don't know. It's just a weird like models already have a kind of like, It's a
kinds of body
fine
image.
line to
Yeah.
to walk.
Well, it's because the algorithm has whittled down perspective. So like you can't just have a pretty sunset. The algorithm says, well, hornballs are looking at your ass. Your ass photo is going to get 1,200 likes.
Dude.
Your photo with your boyfriend is going to get 250.
I know,
So you have to feel that shit, and I feel that shit because I go, well, I'm weighing you down. I'm weighing you down.
I lose followers every time I post anything with my boyfriend. But yeah, it's funny. My boyfriend says the same thing. He's like, babe, you got to post more sexy photos of your bod. And I posted like one photo where you can see like my ass from a profile view. And I got like so many followers. I was like, this really works. It's crazy. I
it's
should do
crazy.
it more. I just don't. I should.
No, it's.
I've been lazy about it.
It's one of those
But
things.
then it's like you're like, oh, I have to take an ass photo every time I go to the beach.
I
Like
know.
it's just like,
and like my parents follow me. I don't know. It's
yeah.
weird.
My mom always comments like
her mom comments the googly eyes, like that, like
the shocked
You know,
face,
the eyebrows
shocked
above the
emoji.
eyes?
Ah, dude, the last
Tasha posted a
dude.
photo of her and like this other chick like naked on a horse. I feel like, yeah, you
She
posted,
saw that one.
Oh,
I
she
don't
tries
know.
to do
She,
it.
every time, even if there's like a little bit of side boob, she's like, ugh.
but I know people,
it. I know my mom's the
people
same way.
that will show their side boobs big on Instagram, and they'll have a couple 100,000 followers. And like Tasha had like these like henna, what are they, tattoos from
Foil
Coachella,
tattoos.
and I had her, she did a crisscross in front of her boobs, which was probably more coverage than if she had like a bikini on, right?
Yeah.
But that was probably one of your most like photos of all time, and I just snapped it off. You know what I mean? And it's like you could easily not, and I'm not telling
It
you to
shows
do
you
this.
that you don't necessarily need like high production value, or that you don't need to overthink it for
Yeah.
people to like it. But then it's just a time suck.
But look, if you don't
Totally.
want to do it,
Totally.
I'm not trying to push you.
No, I mean,
but I kind of was.
let's put it all out there.
I was kind of reaffirming that is the case. I mean, that's how it
It
works.
is.
You post a loving photo with your boyfriend. These guys are. I had a bit about that where Tasha posted me Man Crush Monday and lost 700 followers, and it's like that's a fucking thing I gotta know happens.
Right.
But like, and I'm sure it's the same way with your boyfriend. If your boyfriend posts a photo of you, his likes are gonna go up.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on with our
I know.
followings?
I know.
It's bullshit.
Dude.
I want her following to love us together.
Yeah.
I want her to get rewarded for sharing her love,
Like
but
a
she's
social
not.
media love story.
Yeah,
But I think that it's like one of those things that it's slow exposure over time. Like people started following me in the beginning for butt, and now I have to slowly transition them into like grown up Tasha who just wants to take like travel photos.
Yeah,
you know,
same.
like you have
Grown-up
to
Tasha.
you have to transition them into new phases of your life. Fashion bloggers do it. They start out as fashion bloggers, and then they get married, and then they become mommy bloggers, and
Right.
people are along for the ride.
your
Yeah.
friend Andrea. Her friend Andrea's got a couple million followers. Does she?
Damn.
Yeah. Does she post about her husband?
Yeah, she does, but she also actively blocks men.
Really?
Yeah. This kind of stuff is so funny to talk about, but she's open with it, so I think it's fine. But a lot of brands want to work with influencers who have a higher percentage of female followers than male followers for exactly the butt photo reasons, right? Like,
right.
And women obviously are, like, I guess the stats show that women are the purchasers of households, right? Like
Yeah.
women spend more money than men do. So
Yeah.
if you're a brand that's wanting to advertise through an influencer, you want to advertise to women. So you're going to choose influencers who have high women percentage of their following.
Good to know.
So she actively she already has 1 million followers. She doesn't need more followers. She's like
Right.
top tier influencer.
Because if like a chick's just a side boob chick, she's not going to sell Herbalife. No guys
Right.
buying Herbalife because she has a side boob.
What's
but
her
if,
name?
I'll just give
Okay,
you
cool.
her info.
Sorry, we're doing a
but
podcast.
no, it's fine. But yeah. So she like blocks men all day, every day to
my
keep
God.
her number of female followers higher than her men followers. Like she does. It doesn't matter if she has another 200,000 on top of her million of
Right.
dudes. Like
Right.
she just doesn't need them. So she just is quick with the block button.
it's just a strange thing though, because we're not. It's like a daily grind where every day is like you're only as good as your last photo, you're only as good as a new bit you posted or whatever. Even with the podcast, I downloaded this new app where you get to track the last 60 days have been dog shit. And I don't know if it's the end of the summer or what, or iTunes reshuffled the way they categorize podcasts. So now we're in the top 100 for comedy interview podcasts in America, and we're in the top 100 in like England and Australia, it pretty much,
God, congrats.
yeah, but we've lost downloads. So I go, I'm just looking at a number and seeing I have less downloads. Do we have more listeners? Are we actually getting more people to listen, but like we're getting less like junk downloads? Or I don't know how it is, and yet we should worry less about how many likes you have and more about the collective, like how does it all, the content, how does it all look?
Right.
But we're just instantly rewarded by what the numbers show us, and those numbers, you can't look away from them. So I think we've had the best guests we've ever had. I think we've got a crazy good lineup. We have new artwork. We got new lighting. I love the lighting. I think it's got great lighting. And all these things. And I'm like, and here I am bummed because the last 60 days it says we lost 23% of our downloads. But I go, I think we're going in the right trajectory. But you're just constantly hit with numbers in social media, and I don't think our brains are able to quantify it all.
Exactly.
You're gonna have to show a little butt on the podcast.
Flash that tit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're exactly right. It's like we can really quantify like our how people are responding to us every day. So if you're like too zoomed in to those analytics, it's gonna make you and our art is so personal to us too, right? So it feels like a reflection on you when you post a photo and it doesn't perform. You're like, no one loves me, but it probably mostly just people didn't see it.
Right, totally.
We talk about the Perfection Detox, which is a book we read, which is we interviewed Petra Kolberon, who wrote the Perfection Detox. She's on our October 21st episode, which I think yours will be the week before that. So teaser, go listen. But the first chapter of that book, the Perfection Detox, basically is about deconstructing why you need to be perfect, why you shouldn't need to be perfect. But the first chapter is about ruminating and what we do negative, what we do kind of obsessively, the obsessive thoughts that we have that hurt us. Like, do you have anything that you can think stands out that you do, whether it's scrolling on Instagram when you should be doing something else, or like looking at show flyers and seeing all the comics that are booking shows that you wish you were doing? Is there something negative that you've been able to pinpoint that's like holding you back?
The comparison game. I've definitely fallen into that from time to time. I've gotten better as I've gotten older. I kind of choose to be oblivious to a lot of things, but totally, like just last week I saw my friend was like booked on a show that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I was like, guess that friend's just fucking better than me, like or if I see someone that's working more, I don't know though. I feel like I think it's really important not to compare yourself to others. Just compete with yourself, and like you have to be your own biggest fan because no one else is gonna give a shit. Don't be a narcissist, but just like love yourself.
You're right, and I've like
know that you're enough.
I voice my issues of ruminating to other people, and they'll be like, "Dude, just stay in your own lane." I'm like, "I want to fucking kill you for just giving me such nonchalant, perfect advice." Yeah, it's easy to say stay in your own lane, but it's the hard part is like with an addiction is what you do when you're alone, or like if I'm bored at work or I've got too much time. I mean, I know, get off Instagram, stop zooming in on show flyers and seeing all the shows other people are booking. Like you start to learn that like everyone else's highlight reel isn't there every day.
It's not,
but it's also, that is what you consume. So you have to make sure like not to put those thoughts in your body.
And Instagram, it's like just the best photos of people looking their skinniest and they're, and that'll fuck with me too, where I'm just like, I'm so fucking fat. And I know I'm not, but I'm just like, that runs through my mind. I'm like, oh, this person has a six pack. Why don't I have a six pack?
See, you're not quite my age, but you remember how it used to be. You used to just post a photo album with like 66 photos, and there'd be a couple winners in there and a couple losers. You remember? Used to be like on Facebook, the profile photos would be the nicest, but if you really wanted to see someone, you go see all their photos. Now it's like every photo is just a grand slam. Everything's just like if it wasn't a grand slam, you took it out of the rotation.
It's so true. Yeah.
I have a photo that's up right now that I keep debating about deleting because I feel like I look so old. It was just very shadowy. We're like at the beach, and how you said your boyfriend like puts a shadow across your face
all the time.
I have like these shadows and these shadows, and I was like, I look like I'm 45, and I want to delete the photo, but it has a lot of likes. So I'm also like, this is totally helping me right
Somebody is listening right now that's 45 that hates you now.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
Felt like I was an old fuck, like 45.
God, the crypt keeper.
Do your boyfriend? How do you guys communicate when it comes to sharing each other's successes and failures? How do you? What's your support system like versus?
Sorry, I didn't
no. Your support system versus like knowing when you don't need a pep talk, but you just need someone to kind of feel how you're feeling.
Yeah, we're really supportive of each other. I feel like we're good at building each other up, and I don't quite remember your question.
What sort of, this is a separate question, but what sort of baggage do you think you brought into your relationship?
I did bring a lot of bags. I have a lot of things now. But yeah, I think for me, a lot of insecurity, especially in the beginning, just like, especially as an artist. And, and I feel like he does a good job of like, instead of just trying to fix everything, but like, I'm going to fix this. Cause I feel like a lot of, not to be sexist, but a lot of dudes are like, fixers, he's just listen and just hear me out and let me just get it out, and like and support me that way just by listening.
We do a lot of we don't talk about it as much anymore, but the book Superior Man is a book about kind of like masculine and feminine energy, and like you've got a lot of masculine energy, and Tasha does too, and everyone does, but it's just like a little bit of each. So like some people go all in one direction, all in another. I think like I think Tasha and I are both like we're both probably 50-50. Like I've got a lot of feminine energy, not in like some ways, but emotionally I think I do that, enough to want to do this thing for 6 years. Like I want to know your feelings, babe. Like let's turn the podcast
my
on.
boyfriend's like that too.
And it's, I don't know, I was raised by a single mom, and I just always,
my boyfriend's raised by a single
bingo.
mom.
That's what they always say.
In touch with your feelings.
They say comics are men hugged too much by their mom and women that weren't hugged enough by their dads. Those are what make a lot of comics. I don't know
really?
that's just a thing. I don't know if it's true, but you gotta have some sort of deficiency to want to make it that far. But like, how does he deal with? Is there any like what are any triggers for like jealousy or issues like that? You guys sound like the perfect couple. Trying to bring you down to our league.
I don't mean to paint it like that. We're definitely not perfect. We're pretty okay. We're lucky in that neither one of us are particularly competitive. But like I'll get jealous of him sometimes because I think he's funnier and a better writer. But I also like use that to my advantage because he'll help me sometimes, and like like he'll punch up my stuff, but I'll punch up his. But yeah, do we get jealous of each other? Not really, because we're different. It's like a zebra and a cheetah.
Are you do you worry that other women are hitting on him after
like
a show?
that.
No, I'm just throwing up. I'm just trying to find some resistance in the relationship.
Yes. So he that's something I don't really like. He does see guys like approach me, and like he does feel like I get hit on more. But like he's I don't think he's insecure about it, but I think a part of him is like a little bit like, man, people don't hit on me that much, know, like, but girls do flirt with him.
I didn't meet him the other day, but I didn't realize till he got on stage that he was your boyfriend. I was like, oh, I get it all. It makes sense now. Cause I'm not, you just don't know. But I was like, oh, if I were single and you were saying, oh, I'm going over to do Dave's podcast, if I was him, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, text me when you're done. Like, there's just but like, there's something to be said about like, all right, like, there's something more harmless, I think, about us doing the podcast together. But like, if you're gonna invite someone over, like, if some dudes were like, come do our podcast, and they're in like, I don't know, East LA, and you're going to some bro's house, like, you put yourself in situations that are quote unquote work situations, but are also kind of like, it's a very social job that we do. Yeah. So like, you have to be very trustworthy. I think
there's to be a lot of trust there.
Yeah.
Also, I love that I was just like, I get hit on way more than my boyfriend. I just realized, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I get it. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I don't think Tasha's ever seen me like hardcore hit on. I got that bit about watching teenage boys hit on her, and like, and the fact that they never hit on, like, there's never a gaggle of girls. Although I will say, from the last Posers video, we interviewed these chicks that were like high school cheer squad, and I took a screen grab and sent it to Channing, because my co-host, because like these chicks were like, and they were shorter, so they were probably just looking up to me, but like through the frame of the shot, I was like, oh yeah, I've got that dad energy they're into for sure. I love it. But it's so harmless to Tasha. It's not like she doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? It's not like who do we see? Jake Owen, and like we were at a Jake Owen concert, and there's someone flung panties right onto his mic stand. And like, his wife has to worry about panties. Like, I'll just have a chick be like, good bit, like, we don't have to do with that at all.
That's
hilarious. So what sort of we're gonna get out of here in a second, but I've probably grilled your relationship more than I think any guest we've ever had. Do you have any questions about her relationship?
So I feel like I've been so boring. I'm sorry.
No.
It seems like you guys really have it all together.
Sometimes we punch each other. No, I'm kidding. Like, we
want some of
cage fights.
When you do fight, what have you had to learn how to kind of handle each other as far as time to, say, go walk the dog, relax, or were you just on board from like your a bit? I mean, it sounds like you guys have a very healthy way of communicating. Do you ever let something, because it sounds like, do you ever let something just stew and then all of a sudden it's like an explosion, or are you just letting it be known?
Sometimes I will like let things build up and I'll like suppress a lot without even realizing, and then just open Pandora's box and I'll like let them know in one day all the things that are bothering me. It's really fun.
For the past 3 months,
really delightful.
everything I've kept track of on my spreadsheet. Yeah.
He just
And
comes
he's
into a
in
mushroom
cold
crowd.
sweat in the corner. Yeah, but I've gotten better, and he's called me out on that. Like, we're really honest with each other. He's like, you need to let me know things that are coming up as it's happening, so it doesn't just build. Like, let me know. Like, so I've gotten better about like, catching my feelings while they're happening and be like, oh, I need to speak about this, or it's gonna build up.
It's like a little depressurizing valve. You're gonna blow your.
It really is. Yeah.
Is that even a term? Depressurizing valve? I don't know. Any plumbers out there? Is that a thing? But it's like, I'm the same way where like I just want us to be happy, so I'll kind of swallow my own emotions and my own feelings about things.
Yeah.
Just to like get us through the situation. Like Tasha, and I'll bring it up now. This is good. I can bring it up now. This is
Great. Here
this
we
might
go.
be too late in the episode to bring this up, but yeah, like when Tasha's mad at me, she won't text me back, and I don't like that. But I also
It's also not on purpose. I'm just when I'm upset, I choose to just ignore my phone and do other things. It's not like I'm like actively responding to all my friends' text messages and not responding to yours. I just like to set my phone down. It's part of just disconnecting in general, because I feel
I
like
do that, yeah.
too married to my phone sometimes. I think is a pretty common feeling
yeah.
with like people in this day and age, that like your job calls you 24/7 on your cell phone. Like you can never get away.
Yeah, but you have to understand that I am very like open to like not. I'm not crazy, but I have had crazy moments. Like early on in our relationship, I had one of the best experiences of my life, like professionally, and I was having probably close to a panic attack because I didn't hear back from Tasha at the end of the night. She was out with, and this is early on in the relationship, but I was like, that triggered some crazy. And I hate the term trigger, but this is like literally probably the worst trigger in our relationship, where I've dated the women who I knew were like deciding between me and the other guy, and then you see a photo of the other guy posting a photo of her, and then it's deleted a minute later. And you're like, my eyes didn't fucking deceive me. You just deleted a photo of a guy. And that sounds crazy to say that, but like I've been there, and I think a lot of guys have, where like there's a lot of like early on in relationships where you don't have that trust or that security. And I don't think Tasha was even aware of this, because I think I can come off pretty cool about these types of situations. But the fact that I didn't hear from her and her friend at the end of the night left me like literally Uber driving the next morning, angry, scared. You remember this?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You were like out playing pool with your friend Jade, and then like didn't get back to me at the end. You just like passed. You're at Jade's uncle's house.
And I also like I barely kept my vomit down that night. I was in
Jade's a
no
heavy
position
drinker.
to text back.
But then
I think we had a job the next morning in Orange County, and she lives in OC, so I had stayed down there with her.
I'm talking
Gotcha.
can't sleep at night.
Really?
Anxiety, stress, whatever it is.
Wow.
And it's total codependency type of thing, but the situation doesn't heal itself when I finally hear from her. It just that's just like sutures the wound, right? That's just you stop that. We stop the hemorrhaging, but then like. When you went to your friend's birthday, you came home late at night and didn't tell me when you're going to be home. And I fully 1000% trust you. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you were with your friend who has a live-in boyfriend. They're good friends of ours. But at the same time, you come back like with your high heels off with men's tube socks on, and I'm like,
It was her socks.
yeah, I believe you, but I also have to have just like you guys have to like have your limbic system ready to go when a guy catcalls you. I have to be like, women cheat, men cheat, women cheat. These things happen. So when I don't hear back from my girlfriend and I'm freaked the fuck out, and I know I can't wait at home and be like, why didn't you? Because I know I'm just going to start more shit. I push it down, and it doesn't come up in a healthy place. And so like the other day, we weren't in a fight. We left saying I love you, all those things. I mean, come on, like so many good things are happening in our life, but we weren't on perfect terms. And you were out at an event with your friend, and it's super harmless, right? But I'm also like, what time are you coming home? Because it's an hour after you said you're going to be home, and I know if I'm an hour late when I said I'm going to be home from a show, you'll be fucking pissed. But we kind of process it differently. So I'm like codependent, needy, and whereas you would just be mad. Again, I don't think you've done anything malicious, but we've severed the communication, and for me, the communication is all we have and all we need. Do you understand?
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know if you realize how much that
Yeah,
like,
but it's as
scares
simple
me.
as sending me a text message. You sent me a text message 3 minutes before I walked in the door. What time are you going to be home? And I'm like, right now. I'm parking the car. I'm not going to write you back. I'm just going to walk upstairs.
I totally understand. And then after we talked, you were at a seminar. Your phone was probably. It started late. I totally get all that. But also, like, I didn't know where you were going, so I was like, I don't know. You never responded to the 7 p.m. text of where you were even going to go. And my father was kind of like a PTSD guy and a Vietnam vet. Okay.
Oh.
And he was kind of like from the stories I've been told was kind of like obsessive over my mom because he was like when he found something nice he wanted to like don't hurt it, and it's like I'm not keeping you from doing anything you want. I really want you to do these things, but I also feel like jaded when
you have baggage that you haven't addressed.
Yeah, but it comes out when the communication lines are gone. And we're not talking like, tell me on the dot when you're home. We're talking like, you came like that 4 a.m. was like, what the fuck? Like, we're not like a late night people. And I knew you were really upset at me. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, like whatever message you're trying to send is like super toxic in how I'm receiving it because, do you know what I mean?
Sure.
No, say it like you know what I mean. This is we always do this with a guest here.
I love it.
But
it's
sorry.
Like, it's like couples therapy. I'm scared.
No, really
It really is.
I love it.
But I just want you to know that like we're taking these these like leaps of faith together where I'm letting you know where like my communication where my panic zone is hit when the communication's gone because that's what I value the most. You know what I mean? So like, and again, I would want you. I would much rather if I'm like lost at a stand-up shows. Sometimes I have to tell people like it actually starts at this time, so don't be an hour late because LA everyone says the show starts at 8, it starts at 9
earlier.
Yeah, exactly. But and then we have to do that. But because of that, nothing ever starts on time. So I'm like, I'm on a show, but I'll be like, we're working with what I'm doing Leon's show. I'm like, I don't know what time it ends. I don't know.
Never know.
They say 8, it might be a 9:15 show, So I have to kind of like under promise to be like, I could be done at 10, but it might be later or whatever. But I don't want you to ever be like stewing mad when I come home because I'm not pokering it with my buddies. Like I'm out there stressed in a green room trying to remember which tag I'm going to do. You know what I mean? So like I just want to overemphasize what we can control because there's so many things we can't.
Yeah.
There's so many things. Like, do you ever have to worry with your, I mean, you guys are both comics, so you understand that like the night ends when it ends, but sometimes that means that, after set movie you guys were going to watch doesn't happen because like shit ran late, you got bumped, 3 other comics came in. How do you guys cope with like sort of the uncertainty of the schedule?
We just let each other know what's up, and we try to carve out a date because that can happen every night here in LA because shit's always hectic here. I feel like, but yeah, so we try to carve out at least one night for a date night. Otherwise, every night can be like that, where it's just like, oh, I'm doing another show, or I'm doing this, going to this event, and so I don't know. We just let each other know. We're just in constant communication.
It's important.
Hey, I'll be home later tonight.
Yeah, it's important to to try to get that quality time. We're going to Magic Castle tonight.
Ooh, fun.
Did I tell you that before we recorded?
No.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Man. We got to do
date
should do
night.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
You should do mushrooms and go. Fun. Microdose.
Yeah. I've never done mushrooms and I'm like, would Magic Castle be a good place or a horrible place to do mushrooms?
Maybe not your first time.
Oh yeah, not your first. Maybe Molly. Just do a little Molly.
Whoa. We've never done that. Have you done that? You've done
Molly?
ecstasy? No, when?
It's so
Hey,
happy.
come on, I had a life before you knew me.
No, I don't believe
This
it.
girl.
Would
You look like Brooke Shields a little bit. Do you get that?
That is the first ever
Oh, a
celebrity
young-
look-alike I ever got.
The eyebrows. You got Brooke Shields
But it's
eyebrows.
good. I like the eyebrows. Are great.
That was another
Eyebrows
one that
are great.
was, that was another one that was like 15 when she was like sexualized.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah, what's the name of that movie? That's exactly what I used to get when I was like around middle school age because I had the long hair and the big old eyebrows.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who do you
that
get?
girl from Labyrinth a little bit? I get Emma Stone weirdly a lot, and then I also sometimes get Margot Robbie, which is very
that's I
that's
would say
very
that.
generous.
No, but I would say that you skin tone wise more than Emma Stone's more of a ginger pale skin.
But you
more
have
blonde.
cheekbones. She has like really prominent cheekbones, and you have really good cheekbones.
Oh,
I think
thanks.
that's why. Like I can see why people say Emma Stone, but
Right.
only when you're like a little bit turned to the side.
Right,
Like from
yeah.
straight on, you don't look like Emma Stone, but I can see
Right.
like
We also have like both have deep voices. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Margot Robbie went full frontal in Wolf of Wall Street, and you wonder like Europeans just don't care as much about.
She's
that
Australian.
shit. She's Australian. Australians definitely don't care much. All the colonies don't care except ours. Canadians are pretty like loose. Both genders pretty loose. They're all fucking right. Australians are just having a party, crikey, right? The British are. I think the British are pretty like they've got like topless models in their newspapers, page 6 or page 3, whatever the term is. They're tabloids and stuff.
Listeners, write in and tell us your country.
Oh yeah, Daniel.
Of origin.
Daniel's in Sussex, England. One of our Patreon members.
I feel like they're a little uptight there. You think that they're not?
I don't think so. I think the people that left were the Puritans, and then they formed us, and now we're afraid to, you know what I mean? We're so fucked. And I'll also have you know, probably why we have a lot of school shooters. Probably because they are guys that aren't getting laid, and there's all this repression and this and that. I'm not saying it's the women's fault at all. I think like the way we deal with sex growing up is so fucked that other cultures are like so, you know, they're just it's just different. Anyway, I don't know why I brought that up,
Man,
but
thank God for sex dolls, man. Because just kidding. I don't know. They should just get a sex doll first before they.
Would you guys get a sex doll?
For what?
If we've had
a friend.
we've had sex toys sent to us, right? We've had like
really?
hundreds of dollars. We used to pass them out to guests. I'm sorry, we're out.
I love it.
But we would get like hundreds of dollars, like really nice sex toys, and then shittier ones. And Tasha held on to probably a lot of the nice ones, right? You say a couple $100 for the nice ones. She held on to the nice ones. But I'm just saying, if we had rolled in a sex doll, you would have to try it. You don't just like send like a Trojan horse.
You have to try.
Like everyone got grossed out when I talked about this, but we got sent like a generic fleshlight. I tried it. I fucking tried it.
Wait, what even is that? I don't even know.
I don't know.
A fleshlight?
I'll Google it.
It's a synthetic vagina. It's just it's a pocket pussy.
Of course.
But it sounds weird. But yet. Oh, and by the way, women would get grossed out. But then you mention you dildos, and they're like, "Woo, fuck yeah, bitches! We don't need no men," you know. But it's like they've got the crazy Looney Tune moving parts in there. It's all MIT engineered shit. It's crazy shit. And now the sex robots is a big thing, but also for women, where you just get some like fucking motor dick.
Huh.
Interesting.
Anyway, folks. Okay, so you guys are way too cool.
Love a good dildo.
But I guess the whole sex toy market for men is just different. Like men can. I don't know if I generalize about all this, but I think men, can separate wanting to fuck versus like a relationship. Mm-hmm. So like when wanting to fuck, I would be 100% weirded out by a sex toy, by a sex doll, and I would 100% try it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Like it's there. Anyway. You guys are making me look like the weirdo.
Nah, I mean, there's one in my closet. Don't feel bad.
Do you and your last question? Do you and your boyfriend incorporate other advanced technologies into the bedroom? Is that something that you've dabbled with?
Yeah, I just my vibrator.
Nothing for the guy?
Nah.
No his and hers lubes?
Nah,
because that's a fun thing. You get the his and her lube. Tasha takes both of them.
I love it.
I feel like I dropped the his one. The his one's under the bed somewhere, so there's no his lube. It's just her.
Yeah. Maybe we should get some his lube.
It's probably it's all at CVS, right? But it's probably just marketed that way. It's probably the same shit. But it's like when this one touches that one, explode. It's like we don't need more explosive feelings on the male side. But anyway,
I really want to get some anal beads for Sean though.
You should just tell him you heard it here on the podcast. Anal beads,
advanced size.
Well, they've got they men don't experience enough with the cock ring. That's a whole nother thing too. That's something that's like we've got all this stuff that Rambo's up the sex toys for women, but the cock ring is a transformer like addition to the male vehicle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It
literally keeps you harder without the vein that gets the blood out of the dick. So it's like only the on-ramp to the highway is open. The off-ramp shut down. So it's just blood flowing to the dick. That's crazy. That's what all the gay strippers, they'll keep a cock ring on and they look like huge as fuck, but it's just because, well, I've lost you guys on this one. We'll just get out of here. How can people find your Instagram? Where are you at? It's Leah Rich. Is that right?
It's Leah Rich, LIA. It's Leah Rich, and I'm on there, and I'm on Facebook. I don't know. Hit me up.
Any shows? Anything else going on?
Sure.
You don't produce that show, but you host that show.
I host Leon's show sometimes. I'm trying to think of what my next show is.
But you post it all on Instagram.
Yeah, so I perform the last Tuesday of every month at the Ha Ha in North Hollywood.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And Natasha, Where can people find
At
your
Tasha Courtney.
immaculate photography that I took? At Tasha Courtney.
Give Dave a
And
compliment.
Also, if you're listening to this and you haven't yet, we like our listeners, if you've listened to 3 or 4 episodes, to write in. Let us know what's going on. I mean, we've got a listener in Australia who started listening during his chemo treatments. I mean,
wow.
there's something pretty crazy about hearing about the following. My buddy Matty Shimbor, he tours on the road. And he also does this Facebook cooking show. Do you know Matty?
No.
He's a fucking great guy. He hasn't been on the podcast yet. We got to get him on. But he does this stupid cooking show, and he was on the road performing. And when audience member brought him a 3-pack of wooden spoons, and I was like, bro, that is worth its weight in gold, because that means someone listens and watches you so much that that's worth so much more than the $5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your letters that people write in is worth so much more than you think. We appreciate it. Your ratings and reviews. If you want additional content, we post an extra hour podcast a week on the patreon.com/thesap, patreon.com/thesap. We started doing this in February. It's our eighth month doing the Patreon, and it's cool. We had one of the Patreon members came to the show today, so it's cool to have this private community that gets a little bit more than they get here. So we appreciate all of our free listeners approaching our 6-year anniversary. But if you want to donate more, it helps us make these beautiful lights and all this extra setup that we have. So we appreciate all of you guys out there donating. Again, thank you so much, Leah, for doing
Thanks
the podcast.
For having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Leah, Tasha, and Dave. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
There you have it, folks. That's that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Leah. And without further ado, here is a clip from our latest Mimosa show where you can listen to the live hour-and-a-half long show, professionally recorded on our Patreon, patreon.com/thesap, patreon.com/thesap. Go listen to the live version. But in the meantime, here is a clip from Leah Richardson on the Mimosa stand-up show. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Okay, enough. So I model sometimes. JCPenney, heard of it? No big deal. Very high-end stuff. I'm 30 now, so I do a lot of young mom ads. It's weird. One thing that sucks about modeling is people forget that your body is connected to your feelings. I did a shoot the other day with a photographer who I'd worked with before, and she remembered me, and she was like, "Okay, Leah, before we get started, which eye is the saggy eye?" And I was like, didn't know I had a saggy eye, but I guess it's the one that's crying. So both eyes are wet. It's a weird industry. Being a woman's a real trip. I don't know why I looked at you when I said that, but being a woman's weird. I don't even feel like I get to wear my own face every day. When I don't wear makeup, I look like a young British boy in an oil painting, like Papa, let's go swimming. That's what I look like. And you see it now, and I know you see it. Gonna wear this mask till I die. Being a woman's weird. The titles of articles in women's magazines really bother me, because I feel like they're always telling women what we're doing wrong. I'll see these articles that say things like 7 reasons you're driving him away, or how to please your man. And I feel like the articles in men's magazines are so much more affirming. They're 7 reasons you don't even need this magazine, bro. You're killing it. Just once, I'd love to see an article in a men's magazine that's hey, maybe not all your ex-girlfriends are crazy. Maybe you're just a dick. Look inward, bro.